say, Messieurs, gentilshommes, gentilshommes, it is my duty, but really my pleasure, as official town crier, to welcome you to a very special edition of Heritage Day in Ottawa. Il est de mon devoir, mais avant tout de mon gré, en tant que crieur de ce comté, de vous accueillir comme il se doit à cet événement de choix, une édition très spéciale de la célébration du patrimoine à Ottawa. As we explore the theme, resilience, cette année nous explorons le thème résilience. Holding strong to our present as our past gives the resilient strength to build a foundation for tomorrow, future generations. This will be a virtual celebration. Ce sera une célébration virtuelle. So this is a formal invitation to join us. L'invitation vous est lancée. Joignez-vous à nous. May God smile upon you. Que Dieu vous sourie.
Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Bonjour à tout le monde. Kwe, Ani, Sego. My name is Daniel Richer dit Laflèche, and it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to our very first virtual Heritage Day in Ottawa. Je m'appelle Daniel Richer dit Laflèche et permettez-moi de vous souhaiter la plus cordiale bienvenue à la toute première fête du patrimoine virtuel d'Ottawa. Si vous ne me connaissez pas, je suis le crieur public officiel de la région de la capitale-nationale depuis presque 40 ans. For those of you who don't know me, I have been the National Capital Region's town crier for almost 4 decades now, and it is always a delight to be asked to participate in Heritage Day. Before we get started, I would like to recognize the Algonquin Anishinaabe First Nations, all the First Nations, the Inuit, and the Métis people. The City of Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin Anishinaabe First Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this place. The City of Ottawa and the Capital Heritage Connection honor the peoples and the land of the Algonquin First Anishinaabe Nation. The City of Ottawa and the Connection honor all First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples, their elders, their ancestors, and their valuable past and present contribution to this land. Ottawa est bâti sur un territoire non cédé de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe. Les peuples de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe vivent dans ce lieu depuis des millénaires. Leur culture et leur présence l'ont imprégné et l'imprègne encore. La Ville d'Ottawa et Connexion Patrimoine de la capitale rendent hommage au peuple et au territoire de la nation algonquine Anishinaabe. La Ville d'Ottawa et Connexion Patrimoine de la capitale tiennent aussi à rendre hommage à toutes les Premières Nations, les Inuits et les Métis, leurs aînés, leurs ancêtres et leurs précieuses contributions passées et présentes à cette terre. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, please join us for a special welcome from the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation, delivered by Chief Wendy Jocko. Je vous invite à écouter le mot de bienvenue de Wendy Jocko, chef des Algonquins de la Première Nation Pikwakanagan.
Kwekwe, hello, bonjour. Dear friends, on behalf of the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan First Nation, miigwech, thank you, merci for the opportunity to join you on Heritage Day in Ottawa, located on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. I'm very pleased to join you today from my home here in Pikwakanagan, which is nestled on the shores of Golden Lake and the Bonnechere River. as you will see behind me. Long before of the arrival of the first settlers, this land was inhabited by Canada's First Nations people. In fact, we've been living in this place we now call Ottawa for at least 12,000 years. Of the 37 million people living in Canada, there are almost 2 million people identified as being of First Nations heritage. There are 634 First Nation communities in Canada, speaking more than 50 distinct languages. Throughout Canada's history, many Indigenous peoples have helped shape this land into the country, provinces, cities, and towns we know today. Though it should be noted and remembered that cultural heritage does not begin and end with colonial figures and histories. Heritage Day is intended to celebrate the province's heritage inclusively, from the Indigenous peoples through to the modern-day diversity that enriches the daily life in Canada, Ontario, and Ottawa. Ottawa continues to be the meeting place for all people from all directions. We have all been facing change in our lives in recent months. Some of those changes have led to us re-evaluating the way we do things. No matter what our heritage is, we have all experienced challenges that may have been extremely difficult and hard to cope with, like loneliness, isolation, restrictions, job loss, financial struggles, health problems, and family issues, to name a few. However, we all share something in common, and that is resilience. We have the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's part of being human. The art of life is a constant readjustment to our surroundings. Like the oak that fought the winds and was broken, the willow bent when it had to and survived. We bounce back because we have hope. Hope is important because it can make the present seem less difficult to bear. If we believe in the hope that tomorrow will be better, we can bear the hardship of today. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Iliu nama awenan, mava, masema, minwa no oduwananen, didapa kidinamaga. We offer our prayers tobacco in our hearts, sending you our love and good wishes from Algonquin territory. Miigwech, thank you, merci beaucoup.
Miigwech, Chief Jocko, for that lovely welcome. I would now like to recognize our two special hosts who are here with us today. J'aimerais souligner la présence parmi nous de nos hôtes très spéciaux. His Worship, son honneur, Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, Maire de la Ville d'Ottawa, and Lady Catherine Lindquist, Executive Director of the Capital Heritage Connection, Directrice exécutive de Connexion Patrimoine de la Capitale. This year's Heritage Day theme is resiliency, relying on our heritage foundation to hold strong and help us pivot in a changing present for the well-being of our future generations. Cette année, la Fête du patrimoine a pour thème la résilience, s'appuyer sur notre patrimoine pour rester fort et nous guider dans un présent en mutation pour le bien-être des générations futures. To further elaborate on this year's theme, I invite you to listen to 3 stories of resiliency shared by local heritage organizations within Canada's capital, including the Ottawa Jewish Archives, le Musée au Parc Vanier, and the Sons of Scotland.
Hi, my name is Tegan Goldsmith, and I'm the archivist at the Ottawa Jewish Archives. This past year, my focus has been on social media and making sure the archives has a presence online. Heritage institutions like the archives heavily rely on foot traffic, and with the pandemic, that just wasn't possible. Back in March, everything very quickly turned online, and I decided to just ride the wave. I figured if people were stuck at home, many would turn to social media for entertainment, so I started posting stories. The Jewish community in Ottawa is very close-knit, and I decided to start sharing stories and photos that people would remember and be able to interact with. I think sharing the photos sparked a lot of memories for people and we're able to give everyone something to focus on for a little bit instead of what was going on outside. Two of the most popular social media initiatives of the year were Share Your History and the Do You Know Who I Am photo album. The first was an invitation to the community to share their own family photos and stories. It was a chance to showcase materials the Archives doesn't necessarily have while promoting donations to help the Archives grow. The second was a photo album on our Facebook page where I would post photos in our collection that don't have identifications. It was a way for people to further interact with our collection by actively contributing to our database. This past year has definitely been a tough one, but I think in many ways it's made the Archives better. We found these incredible ways to still connect with the community, even from home, and for that I'm really grateful.
Bonjour, Kwe, hi. Comme chacun d'entre nous, le Muséoparc Vanier a dû faire face à une année 2020 pleine de rebondissements. COVID-19, incendie de la cabane à sucre, ainsi que le décès soudain de son directeur général. 2021 may be equally unpredictable, but the Vanier Muséoparc has proven that it can reinvent itself by offering digital's alternative to existing activities and by designing new programs while respecting social distancing regulations. C'est avec le soutien de notre communauté et de nos partenaires que nous regardons vers l'avenir pour reconstruire notre cabane à sucre, pour poursuivre les rénovations de notre musée, sans oublier de célébrer le 15e anniversaire du Muséoparc, ainsi que de nombreuses activités surprises. Stay connected. Suivez l'actualité de notre musée en restant connecté. Miigwech.
Hello, my name is Bethany Bastillion, and I am a piper, piping teacher, and the very proud pipe major of the Sons of Scotland Pipe Band, based here in Ottawa. Our pipe band will be celebrating its 125th anniversary in 2021, and this gives us the wonderful distinction of being Canada's oldest civilian pipe band. And I'm very happy to say that since its inception, the band's mandate to teach and train free of charge and to encourage our players to go into the community and give back has not changed since that time. 2020 proved to be a challenging year for all of us in very many different ways. We took our practices online. I moved my entire school online as well. And we kept ourselves busy and motivated by working with each other, checking in with each other, revisiting traditional pieces of music we've played over the years, and maybe learning one or two new ones along the way. This has proven to be quite successful and a lot of fun, and while we had to put our practices, the entire competition season, and our travel plans on hold for this year, we are looking forward to next year. But in the meantime, we tried to give back in ways that we thought were thoughtful and kind for our community. It's important that as a community-based band that we reached out to retirement homes and hospitals that we've worked with over the past, and we wanted to let them know that we were available to come and play whenever we had the chance to. I myself have been able to do videos and send them to people on Facebook Messenger. Sometimes they awoke to a special little New Year's message of traditional Highland music or a greeting, and that makes me feel very good as a bagpiper to do these kinds of things for people. We're looking forward to next year when we can encourage our fellow players in the community to come along to events. Hopefully we'll be able to travel again soon, and we'll be able to come along with our dancers from the Catherine Robinson School who showed up to every event we asked them to do, and that was very, very special as well. So we hope that this year brings a lot of opportunities. And I just wanted to say, on behalf of everybody from the pipe band, je souhaite une année plus lumineuse et plus positive pour nous tous, remplie de famille, d'amis et de bons souvenirs. Halayan, Nushu, Akin, and Miigwech. From everybody in the Sons of Scotland Pipe Band, we hope that you have a great Robbie Burns Day, and here's to better days.
I now invite His Worship, Mayor Jim Watson, to speak a bit about the resiliency our heritage organizations and workers have shown and to present this year's Heritage Day proclamation.
Thank you, Danielle. Merci beaucoup, Danielle. And hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. And I'd like to welcome you to our virtual edition of the Heritage Day celebrations here in the city of Ottawa. Bienvenue à tous et à tous. Et remercie pour être ici aujourd'hui pour la fête du patrimoine par façon virtuelle. Traditionally, of course, we would be gathering at City Hall to celebrate our heritage, organizations, volunteers, staff, and history. But of course, the pandemic has prevented us from doing that. COVID-19, of course, has forced us into lockdowns, made us rethink our programs and initiatives, and led to businesses taking extraordinary measures to keep our residents safe. Nos organismes et entreprises du patrimoine ont aussi été touchés par cette situation très sérieuse. This year's Heritage Day theme is a mouthful, but it's definitely apt. It's resiliency, relying on our heritage foundations to hold strong and help us pivot in a changing present for the well-being of our future generations. It's a great theme because it does capture the amazing work, creativity, flexibility of our heritage organizations, such as museums, historical sites, as well as societies and guided tours. Given closures and gathering restrictions throughout the past year, offering services, programming, or events has been incredibly challenging. Et malgré toute la communauté patrimoniale, à se préserver l'histoire et trouver des moyens de partager des volets de notre histoire, tout en respectant les mesures de sécurité et de la distinction physique mise en place. Others choose to increase their online presence and offer virtual tours. One of the largest events at our city museum took place at the wonderful Cumberland Village Museum. The spectacle of having the village lit up attracts thousands in a normal year. But with COVID-19 and safety measures in place, the traditional event, of course, could not happen. Instead, museum staff pivoted to a drive-through event. This allowed residents to continue to experience the beauty of the vintage Village of Lights. We had to forego sleigh rides, bonfires, and of course hot chocolate, but instead residents were treated to a radio broadcast created by the museum staff to reflect the times. And each car was given a loot bag with cookies to decorate. Cet exemple témoigne bien la résistance de nos organismes ici à Ottawa et de leur capacité de s'adapter rapidement selon les besoins. Le travail que vous faites enrichit notre vie et je suis ravi que vous ayez trouvé une façon de continuer de partager notre histoire locale. Thank you for all you do, and I'm now pleased to present a proclamation to Catherine Lindquist of the Capital Heritage Connection on behalf of all of the heritage organizations, staff, and volunteers who have shown their resiliency in the past year, and which I will now read aloud. Therefore, I, Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, do hereby proclaim February 16, 2021, Heritage Day in Ottawa, and call upon all citizens to celebrate the richness of our past and the promise of our future. Par conséquent, je, Jim Watson, maire de la ville d'Ottawa, proclame par la présente le 16 février 2021 fête du patrimoine à Ottawa et appelle à les résidents de célébrer notre riche passé et notre avenir prometteur. Catherine.
Miigwech, merci, thank you, Daniel, Mayor Watson, and to all joining us today, Kwekwe, bonjour, hello, happy Heritage Day and week. On behalf of the Capital Heritage Connection, I'm very pleased to co-host Heritage Day 2021 with the Mayor, a virtual first, and most appreciative to receive his proclamation recognizing the resiliency of our over 100 Connection members, heritage organizations, places and spaces, businesses, academic programs, students, volunteers, and supporters. During these troubling and trying times, they have truly shown great tenacity and true grit. We've seen many impressive examples of them pivoting through this pandemic paradigm shift. The three highlighted here today, Musée Parc Vanier, Ottawa Jewish Archives, and Sons of Scotland. Et nous en avons beaucoup plus à partager. Par exemple, Musée Bytown Museum. Though shuttered throughout the pandemic, the museum has been delivering enlightening online programming, including virtual tours, Bytown Bit by Bit, social media video segments, complete with blooper reels, Let Us Entertain You performances, and now the new Beyond Bytown lecture series. Not bad for 103 years old. Les Archives d'Ottawa archives. Last year, as the pandemic first settled in and residents were forced to follow suit, I approached the City of Ottawa Archives with a proposal to capture the community's unparalleled experience. The disquiet of empty roadways, spaces, and shuttered places, children's color and hopeful window drawings and sidewalk chalkings, Facebook fenestration photos like new grandparents and grandchildren and seniors and their families connecting through window-paned visits, worried and wearied frontline workers, moving end-of-life tributes in print in place of in-person. The archives embraced and ran with this initiative, which will capture an important period in our history, like it was their own. Thank you. Mississippi Valley Textile Museum presented an impressive tapestry of COVID-19 photos and rallied Mississippi Mills around embracing the local LGBTQ community, eradicating an incidence of intolerance with the power of pride. Goulburn Museum created family-friendly online programming, including craft making and take-home kits. The Historical Society of Ottawa historically shifted their popular lecture series to an online platform. With war memorial ceremonies cancelled, Remembrance Day was meaningfully marked at Beechwood's Military Cemetery. Diefenbunker, Canada's Cold War Museum, bunkered down to work on and secured a $1.1 million grant. Osgood Township Museum just featured local Les Canadiens legend Larry Robinson in a live stream interview and as part of their new permanent exhibition, Rooted in Rural, Cultivating Connections, a literally after my own heart. Haunted Walks and Indigenous Walks stepped up to deliver bubble group or physically distant experiences. It's also Black History Month, and the Black History Society of Ottawa, Canadian Museum of History, and others are presenting very interesting events. And with the support of the Ottawa Community Foundation, our own Capital Heritage Connection team delivered another successful mentorship program for emerging professionals and new Connect sessions to help our members share COVID-19 coping solutions, all online. These and still more stories of resiliency are featured on our website, capitalheritage.ca. Also shared there is the story of our Louise and Eric Moore Award for Outstanding Volunteerism in Capital Heritage. And this year's recipient, Roger Thomas. Like Louise and Eric, in whose name the award was created, for decades, Roger has made incalculable contributions, too many to list today, in support of local heritage. Most notably to the Huntley Township Historical Society, who nominated him. Thank you and congratulations, Roger. We encourage everyone here today to consider becoming Capital Heritage volunteers and our Connection members, with our fees waived during these challenging times. And right after the ceremony today, to join us for an online interactive heritage quiz hosted by edutainer extraordinaire Pierre Bro. There are prizes to be won, including beautiful gift boxes donated by the mayor and ones we purchased from our members. Thank you all. As a warm-up for the quiz, we ask, what milestone is being marked this year? The answer, Daniel Richer is celebrating his 40th year serving as the capital's town crier. Congratulations, Daniel. Merci, miigwech. Thank you.
I'd now like to take a moment to celebrate and recognize Daniel Richer's 40 years of service to the heritage sector. Someone who has been with us for many of these Heritage Day celebrations as the National Capital Region's town crier. He has competed internationally as a town crier, and we've recognized him previously with the City Builder Award, and he's won competitions around the world. Honestly, he has likely been to more Heritage Day celebrations than I have. He's a fixture at Heritage Day down here at Jane Piggott Hall. Daniel Richer, merci de vos contributions au sein de notre communauté patrimoniale. Vous êtes présent depuis 4 décennies et nous sommes très reconnaissants du soutien, de dynamisme et de l'exubérance dont vous faites preuve lors de nos activités. And he never needs a loud speaker. His voice carries throughout the whole of City Hall, and we're pleased to present you this letter of recognition, Daniel. Thank you very, very much for 40 years of tremendous service to Heritage Day and to the City of Ottawa. Merci beaucoup, Daniel.
Votre honneur, Lady Lundquist, merci beaucoup. Ça me fait énormément plaisir. Je suis honoré de cette délicate attention. C'est toujours un plaisir pour moi d'être ambassadeur de la région de la Capitale-Nationale et, bien sûr, d'Ottawa à travers le monde. It's always a pleasure for me to be an ambassador for the National Capital Region, for both sides of the river, for Ottawa and for Gatineau. As I travel the world in competitions, it is always a pleasure to represent all of you. And I bring all of you with me in my heart. Vous êtes toujours présents avec moi. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this year's Heritage Day ceremony. For those watching, please join the Capital Heritage Connection for a live interactive heritage quiz. Details on how to join the quiz via Zoom are provided on ottawa.ca/museums. The quiz will begin shortly, so don't delay. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est tout pour la cérémonie de la Fête du patrimoine cette année. Si vous nous regardez en direct, je vous invite à participer sur le site de la Connexion Patrimoine de la Capitale à un jeu questionnaire interactif sur le patrimoine. Les détails de ce qu'il faut faire pour participer à ce jeu questionnaire dans Zoom se trouvent sur ottawa.ca/musée. Ne tardez pas, ce jeu questionnaire est sur le point de commencer. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy Heritage Day, everyone. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech!